What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show. Hopefully you've subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, or you've checked it out on YouTube, which you can find at youtube.com. Just search up GUG Podcast there. So hopefully you're listening to one of the many avenues that I have it on. And if you are returning each and every week, I appreciate it. This week on the show, we have our guest. Her name is Nikki Petitt. I met her on Twitter, asked her to be on the show. She's been very heavy in the Kind of Funny community, so sent her a tweet, said, hey, would you be interested in being on? And she was very nice enough to come and share her stories. So you can hear that. You could also hear maybe a way if you have a girlfriend or a significant other who may not be into games. She gives a little tip in there on how to possibly help out with that. If you guys want to be in the show just like she was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Nikki Petitt. Do you remember what got you initially started playing games? Do you remember if it was a family member, a friend, one of those cool kiosks at like a Toys R Us? Do you remember what initially got you interested?
So the first thing I remember about games is, I think, oh my God, how old was I? I don't know, like 3. And my dad had the original Nintendo. And the apartment that we lived in, like, he'd put it on and I'd play around with the Duck Hunter gun. Like, I wasn't good. I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing besides shooting the gun at the TV screen. So that was, like, my first interactions with games. And he had a few games throughout my childhood. He had Mario and a few other things that I can't remember. But Duck Hunter was, like, the one that I played all the time. And I remember when I was in first grade, second grade or something, he picked up this Barbie game because you could rent games at the video store.
Oh shit,
and
Barbie game.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, Barbie. I love Barbie. So I played that for a little bit, but then we returned it and it wasn't a big deal. Like, gaming wasn't a central part of our life. He just had this Nintendo that I played with here and there. I mean, I got into it more hardcore, I guess you would say, now that I'm an adult, but I did have systems in my past that I played. So, I mean, I don't know, do you want me to like just go right into those?
Yeah,
or
fine. No, I mean, like, the thing that's funny too is like the NES being in a home, it was kind of like just something that was like a staple of people's homes. Like, even people that didn't really play games, there was just occasionally you go to somebody's house and they're like, oh, I don't really play games. That's just the thing the kids play with when they're here. Like, It was almost like everybody had one. So, no, it makes complete sense. Did you play Duck Hunt with the TV and the gun straight? Did you ever do that when you were a kid, doing the cheap things where you get stupid close to the TV and shoot them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had like the TV, I had the gun like on the TV, and I'm like, I know the birds are going to hang out here, here, and here. And I like was tinking on the TV, and my dad had to like, no, here's a line on the floor. You don't pass where the Nintendo sits on the floor. You can't like hit the TV with a gun. That's not how you kill them. Like, it's point and shoot.
It's like darts. Like, you can't throw beyond this line. Like, here's a tape line on the floor. You can't shoot past this point.
It was like, you have to pull the Nintendo out as far as it goes, as the cord goes, and then you have to stand in front of like, of the Nintendo TV. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Everybody. Yeah. Cause now you can't do that to these like newer TVs, cause that would be really bad if you were just like clank, clank, clank. Like,
right. You're up there with a Wiimote, like trying to get the bowling ball down.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be awful. No, but I mean, that's really, it's just cause like Mario Duck Hunt and NES being in people's homes was basically, that was like a VCR. Like, it felt like everybody had one. And of course, everybody's like, what's a VCR? Please don't. I'm really sorry if you don't know what a VCR is. But that's always my fear of like some people listening to the show and they're like, what's a VCR? And I just like...
It's an 8-track.
Yeah, what's an 8-track?
You don't know what a VCR? You definitely did not get that one.
Yeah, exactly. They're like even far out of the loop. They're just like, what? Yeah, there was like things like called tapes that we used to put in and watch like movies off of. It was crazy.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. So then, like, did you ever have any siblings growing up, brothers or sisters that would play games with you or anything?
No, so I'm an only child, which means I got the system all to myself, which was really fun, but I never played 2-player games unless my cousins came over. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, when I got older, like, my dad bought the first PlayStation at Costco in a bundle. And it was the PlayStation along with, I think, Twisted Metal. No, it wasn't Twisted Metal on mine. It was some pool game where you like shoot billiards. And then it was like Crash Bandicoot. And Crash was the game that like molded me as a child. Like I played that game. If there was a platinum for it, I would have gotten it 3 times over. All the little jewels you could get, all the coins, whatever it is that you could get in Crash, I got. I knew the secret code to get into Spyro, although I was awful at Spyro because like the inversion, I can't do that. And there was no way to switch it to like up is up and down is down. It was always up is down. Yeah. So I can't play like that. And I was really bad at Spyro, but he was always so cute and I loved him. And my cousin had the real game and he would play the flying parts and then I would play all the other parts.
You're just brain broke. You're just like, I can't do this part.
Yeah. So, so that's what really got me into it was him buying that PlayStation. So that was a really integral part of like my gaming history. I think I had a Game Boy Advanced Color. It was the purple clear one, where it was just like the one handheld. It wasn't an open close one, like the sandwich, like flip phone. It wasn't a flip open one. Yeah. And I played Harry Potter on that all the time, constantly.
Now, did you only play it constantly because you were in love with Harry Potter?
That and I like literally didn't know there were other games out there.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that like a game store was a thing. I didn't know you could buy games. My dad didn't do that, so I didn't know what was out there. Like I had what I had and my family knew I loved Harry Potter, so they bought me this game to go along with the system that they had no idea like what it was really. Right. And yeah, so I had that and I played it and played it and played it and I found out there was a second one, like the Chamber of Secrets, so I bought that one and didn't really play it very much. I played it a little bit, but you know.
That was the only thing, like certain games back then, like especially games that if it was something that you really liked outside of gaming, like Harry Potter, there was a Harry Potter game, cool. Sometimes that was a giant disappointment. Like sometimes, which I've expressed all the time, I loved Power Rangers because I was 9 at one point in time, and Power Rangers game came out for Genesis. I was all jazzed. I wanted it so bad. My mom got it for me for Christmas. It was one of those like hard to buy games because it was just, you know, everybody and their mother wanted Power Rangers. Got it, beat the game in 30 minutes. It was trash. And I was like, huh, that kind of sucked. So I mean, at least there was like a moment where, you know, you actually had a game that you enjoyed for something else outside of gaming that you enjoyed. Because that, like I said, depending on who made the game, that was quite rare. I
had the Rugrats game on PS1 and that was amazing.
I never, they had a Rugrats game for what system?
PlayStation 1.
What?
Yeah.
Was it like awful 3D? Was it just like weird polygon, like Tommy looking all weird and whatnot? You
know, I haven't played it in such a long time that I really don't remember what it looks like, but from what I remember, it was very, very clear and the controls weren't that bad. Like it was pretty good. I mean, it's not like you're playing a cartoon, but it was cartoony with an 8-bitty type feel. Like they were really kind of janky looking, like the shapes of the characters. But for what it was a really good game. So
like it's like, well, I mean, the thing is, you say janky looking, but like also too, like a lot of PS1 people looked really janky looking.
Yeah, so for a PS1 game, like it looked really good. From I mean, what my 10-year-old brain would remember is like
that's the only thing though. Like here's the thing. In a way, I would tell you not to go back and look at it.
No. So would it hold up? No, it would not hold up. No. Like don't put it on your high def, like plasma TV. Don't. Just keep it, in the box. My kid can hear about it. She'll never play it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
honestly,
that's the only problem with those games. That's the only problem with those games is like in your head. I think it's the worst is like PlayStation 1 era is because in your head you were just blown away by like 3D being a thing and like. But then you go back and you're like, holy shit, look at these games. They don't look so
How
good.
did I deal with this game? It was awful. Because I hate playing older games. I hate it. Like, okay, Stardew Valley is really interesting for me to play right now because I don't like that look of a game, but I'm obsessed with this game, so it's fantastic. But I won't go back and play games that look like that because I don't like the way they look. I just can't handle it. Like, there's something about it that bugs me and uninterests me with it.
So any of the 16-bit, 8-bit style game-ish, you're just like, eh?
The original Marios, like, don't even come near me with those. I hate them. I hate them. I know it's bad, but I just don't like them. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, that's the one thing I think for me, like, because I think there's a certain era of gaming that, like, 8-bit and 16-bit, I don't feel as bad about, but, like, that PlayStation 1 era style graphics because it was just the first time they did 3D and the first time they were learning how to do modeling and all that. And like some of those just look so bad that they kill it. I'm like, I can't do this shit. Like it just
luckily I didn't play that many games on it.
Right.
So like my library of games was Crash Bandicoot with the little additional Spyro, Rugrats, Twisted Metal, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it still is.
I had the PlayStation demo disc that came with Twisted Metal and Army Men, and I played that Army Men little 15-minuter so many times, and I had no idea why it wouldn't let me out of the backyard. Like I could beat the backyard real quick, and I'm like, where do I go from here? So I thought I was just really bad at the game. I didn't get the concept of the demo disc.
Right.
Yeah. So now that I know what the demo disc was, and I realized that that was a 15-minute sample of the game, like, I feel really dumb.
There were certain games, like, shout out to Army Men, because Army Men, a lot of people forget that was a franchise. That shit during PlayStation 1 was so big. Like, so big.
It was just such a good concept for a game.
Yeah, it was cool though. And then, you know what it is? Probably Toy Story. Toy Story was like, hey, yo, man, all these Army Men are in this. People like that. We should probably just make a game of that. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that. There's some franchises that are completely gone from that PlayStation 1 era, but now some of them are obviously coming back. Crash, Spyro, which I love. Hallelujah to whoever made that decision, the executive decision to bring Crash back. I want to meet them and like bow at their feet because it's just, I love Crash. So it's great to have this game back in my life. So did you actually go back to play it, and were you as in love with it as you were before, or did you, because some people got the game and they were like, do I suck at this game, or what is up? We all suck at it. We're all really bad at this game. Yeah. We were used to it being so hard to control and very specific with what you had to do. Like, So I only played Crash Bandicoot Warped. That was it. That was the only Crash game that I ever had. I didn't know there were other games. I didn't get magazines. I didn't have, siblings that were into this stuff. So when they came out with the newer ones, I'd never played 1 or 2, and I just skipped them and went to Warped. And as far as I'm concerned, that game held up very well. And I'm just as bad as I was back then. I might be a little bit better, but I still get just as frustrated. It's just as fun. It's fantastic. It's literally a blast from the past for me. So I know some people got the game, and some people either had 2 realizations. 1, they sucked at the game, or 2, they felt the game wasn't as good as it was because of the way it controlled or whatever, or some of the level design. But also just, hey, that's how the game was. It's not like they made the game worse bringing it back. They just made it look pretty. And it was a remaster. It wasn't a brand new game. Right. So a lot of people and of course, I think now though, with that happening and how well that sold, obviously they're going to come back with others. They already announced Spyro. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So pumped. I'm just happy at least it's going not just to PlayStation, but other platforms as well. Because it's funny because people were making such a big deal about Crash being PlayStation. And then literally 1 year anniversary of it being on PlayStation, it's hey, it's coming to Xbox. I'm like, okay, at least Spyro's cool. Right now, everybody else will get to play it too. And there's nothing wrong with that. I hate exclusives. I think they're so dumb. It's just, I'm such a big fan of the PlayStation that it hurts when I can't play something because it's on Xbox, but I do love that we have so many options on PlayStation. Right. So. Yeah. But I feel bad that those people that love Xbox the way that I love PlayStation can't experience the things that I have experienced, Very true. Yeah, I mean, it's sad to say, but literally, unless it's made by the company, unless it's a Sony-made game or an Microsoft-made game, the fact of it being completely exclusive is almost impossible now. It's really, you could say they did it with Crash, but then Dead Rising 4 came out on Xbox first, and then a year later came out on PlayStation. To keep a game exclusive that is not an owned property of them is almost impossible now, but you still get those games that you wish were on, people who are not able to play God of War right now, I'm really sorry. Yeah, me too. Awesome. And the old ones, I love the old ones. So we'll get to this point later, but the first God of War was very integral in me getting back into gaming. Yeah, that's another one I'm surprised they haven't done full remaster. Not remaster, but up-res. I mean, they didn't have a collection on PS4. They did on PS3, but I don't think on PS4.
I don't know. I'm really bad with my gaming knowledge. I'm such a fake nerd that I don't know. I have no idea. I could say yes and I'd be wrong, and I could say no and I'd be wrong. So we'll just go with I have no idea.
Sure. No, but I mean, like, that's what a lot of the companies were starting to do is like, hey, let's just bring up stuff from the old, but it also made a lot of sense, especially, with a lot of people going from Xbox 360 to PS4. A lot of people didn't get a chance to play a lot of good games that were on PlayStation. So they just started bringing a lot of PS3 games over to PS4, and that's awesome. Like, everybody should get to experience those games. But I also feel, obviously everybody has their own taste. There's games on Xbox that I wish people got a chance to play. Like Ori isn't on PlayStation, and Ori and the Blind Forest is such a good game. And again, it's those rare ones that like somehow they just like, nah, we're good. But then there's, for example, there's no VR at all on Xbox. And PSVR is out there. And, there's always, it sucks because now in order for you to fully experience how good games are, you pretty much have to own everything, which some people get a chance to do and some people don't.
I mean, we do, but we don't bust out the other stuff.
Right.
Like, we have a Switch and my husband plays that quite frequently. I don't really, unless we're like going on a car trip or something that I can sit and not be bothered about.
Right.
And then we have our Xbox, but we don't open it unless there's a very specific reason. Like he went back and played, oh God, I can't remember what game it was. I don't know, some game. He went back and played some game on it. Metal Gear or something. Metal Gear. Yeah, he went back and played that. Right? Mm-hmm. It's Xbox, right?
Well, Gears of War, maybe.
There we go.
Yeah.
I knew I was wrong. Yeah. He went back and played Gears of War and tried to get me to play it, and I just can't. The controller's not for me. I grew up with the PlayStation, so that's just what my hands are accustomed to. But yeah, we don't bust out those other systems. If it's not on PS4, it's probably not getting played by me. So
yeah, I mean, like for me, it's funny because I primarily play on Xbox, but my PlayStation is the exact opposite, where it's like God of War came out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna turn on my PS4 now and start playing God of War. So, and I mean, that's the only thing that's sad to me is like some people ask like who don't have a PlayStation. I'm like, are you going to, get a PlayStation and check out any of the games? They're like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, how are you just going to like miss out on like Horizon and God of War? And...
So here's my reasoning the opposite way.
Right.
The reason that I, if my husband didn't buy all of these, that I would miss out on all of them is because I don't have time to get through the PlayStation games that I want to play.
True.
Like, way back before I had a kid and we could play all day, that would be a different story. I do have a lot in my backlog that I need to get done, but the amount of games that are provided for me on the system that I enjoy are exponential. So like, I don't need another one, and I would love to, I'd love to read every book in the library, but I'm just not going to get to it. So I'm a very big, like, judge the book by its cover, or, it's in my language. I'm not going to learn another language to read this book, or it's a lot of money too to invest in them. So if you're already being entertained with what you have, there's no reason to expand until you can. So maybe it's like no, I just don't have time and I'm very entertained, or it's, I can't do this because I can't afford to do this. So right. I have to focus on one thing, which is kind of, I'm a little bit of all of it. Like, I have a kid, I have an hour every night to play a game, maybe. That's right. If I'm not exhausted. So there's a lot of reasons to not expand, even though it would be nice if everyone did.
Right. I mean, well, that's the other thing too, is when you were younger, you didn't have those responsibilities. So you just kind of like sat and played games and didn't matter. I mean, I
would literally play Crash for like 8 hours, like 3 a.m, and my mom's like, are you still awake? Are you kidding me?
Like, how, like, what are you doing? So you had your cousins that played games with you. Did you ever have friends like at school and stuff that you would talk about gaming with or anything?
The only friend that I ever remember playing games with when I was a lot younger was this girl who lived down the street from me, and she was about halfway in between my house and the school. So I would leave and walk to her house. Her mom would let us play video games in the morning, and I would sit with her at her house, and then her mom would drive us to work or to school. So instead of it taking me 20 minutes to walk, it would take me 5 minutes to get to her house because I would run, of course. Then I would take 15 minutes and play games. Yeah, and we would sit for 15, 20 minutes or so and play GoldenEye or Mario 64. And then her mom would drop us off at school. So every morning I got to play one of those two games, and it was only that.
And that's cool. At least you got to experience something other than what you were used to. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got a PlayStation, so you got a chance to play whatever you kind of wanted there and everything. Obviously, you know, you kind of had your games that you stuck to, but also it was cool that you had friends to go to and everything to actually play games with them as well. So that's awesome.
Nobody else that I remember was like that into games. And of course, it was when I was in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and you see a boy, and boys are like either A, cooties, or B, oh my gosh, he's so cute, but I can't talk to him. So like, I wouldn't talk to the boys who were probably the ones playing the video games.
Right.
And the girls and I just talked about the boys.
Right.
So like it was music and makeup and TV and boys when we talked. We didn't play video games. Like it just wasn't something my girlfriends did. So I would come home and play a game and go to bed. Right.
That's one thing that I worry about with my daughters, because I don't want them to be like, did boys ever go like, oh, you play games, or ever give you any shit or anything, or go,
I don't think anyone ever knew that I played games. We just didn't talk about it.
Right.
Like Pokemon cards were really big when I was young.
Shout out to Pokemon cards.
I had no idea what they did other than a few of them looked really cute. So I literally only had like Charmander and the little pony one because it had cute flames and was like My Little Pony kind of a thing. Right. So I only had a few cute ones, and I didn't even know, like, I would just be like, hey guys, look at my cool cards. And they're like, oh wow, that's cool. You play Pokemon. And I was like, yeah, of course I do. That was the extent of our conversations.
Was that your end? You get to talk to the cute boys?
Yes. Never worked. Because then they start talking about Pokemon, and I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, like, I don't know any of what
I don't want to sound really stupid because I'm not educated on Pokemon, so I would just leave. Yeah.
That's the one thing I just hope that my daughter, because like my daughters play games a lot, but I think now it's a lot more common, a lot more mainstream. Yeah, a lot more mainstream now. So I mean, I just hope if I ever hear anyone say you don't know what you're talking about because you're a girl, I might end up killing a boy.
I feel like that generation of our kids is not going to be like that.
Good.
Speaking of.
I sure hope so. Hi. What are you doing? You want to say hi? She snuck up on me like a ninja.
I know. I saw her coming, and I was like, oh, speak of the cute one. Hi.
Can you say hi? No? Okay. Well, you can sit here and be quiet if you want to, okay? Okay.
It's so cute. Yeah, no, I don't think they'll have a problem with it. I think it's going to become even more mainstream and less likely that the boys are going to act like that. So, I don't know. I'm not really too afraid for my kid to, get into games. And she already loves Batman. We've done some prompting, of course. We've only bought in her the DC type things. And I'm not buying her a Barbie. If I'm buying her a Barbie, it's going to be a Supergirl Barbie. So that's what she's got.
Yeah. It's funny because now that's, like you said, it's become so much more mainstream. Like, to talk about comics or video games, back in the day, it was like nerd. Anyways, now it's like Avengers is the biggest opening weekend ever this weekend. Yeah. Like, so how it's like the most mainstream thing in the world now. So. Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to have a problem.
No, she'll be fine. Well, no, I mean, the other thing, too, is like my kids from the very beginning have been so into gaming only because I have been. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, my kids play the shit out of games because I had every game console available. They saw me play it. So, like, the only thing with them is I'm happy that my kids are now starting to get their own taste in games because I didn't want to be so influential on them to where they're like, I only like what dad likes.
Yeah.
Like, the first time my son came to me and told me he wanted a game that I'd never heard of, I was like, whoa, what game is that? So
Let's see if it's appropriate. And then, sure.
100%. Yeah. Cause that's at least with this now, cause back in the day, like the mature ratings on games were like, you look back now at Mortal Kombat and you're like, people freaked out over this.
Yeah.
When it's, of course, at the time, that was the most realistic, interpretation of violence possible.
But it's not that bad.
No. Like, there was some you look back at, like, Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, and there was some...
No wonder my mom didn't let me watch those.
I know, there was some horrible shit in there. But, I mean, it's just... And now I get why, with gaming and everything, how people... Like, I very much pay attention to what my kids play. Thankfully, I'm one of those parents who know what's good and what's bad, because the worst thing in the world was, hands down, parents, like, I used to work at a game store, and parents would just walk in and not give a shit. They just like, 8-year-old
you want this one?
Grand Theft Auto? Sure, why not? I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, Mom. Like,
I played Grand Theft Auto at my cousin's house when I was in 2nd grade, but it was a little pixelated one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just this little blob that was going around getting in and out of cars. I had no idea I was murdering people.
Right.
I had no idea what was going on. And I didn't even read the story. I was just having fun driving these cars around. Right. So, depends on which games you pick and which era from these games. Because old Grand Theft Auto in the very beginning, not that bad. But now you've got not inappropriate things.
Oh yeah, you got again, it's just the rise of technology. You're seeing in full 3D everything. You're seeing the worst stuff ever.
Yeah. But also my kid's not allowed to watch my Netflix. There's the kids' Netflix for her because there's so many inappropriate things that are just there's just porn there. There's just porn on on Netflix, and they're that's fine.
Want to see boobs? Go right ahead.
Yep.
You could hit a button and see boobs in a heartbeat.
That would never happen on TV. I used to watch Nip Tuck at 11 o'clock at night and silently turn it on. I'd put subtitles on and watch it, and there were boobs, and that was checking my door to make sure nobody saw that I was watching that. Not appropriate.
Right.
So now you can just get it on any show. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm trying, and that's the thing is as my kids are older, I have a 12-year-old boy. That should explain a lot.
Yeah.
And there's already been some incidents of things that his friends have sent him that he's opened up. Yeah. And I'm you should never see this ever. Nope. And obviously we're going to have a discussion with that boy's parents because he shouldn't be sending you this shit.
You've got at least another 4 to 6 years before you should be looking at these things.
Yeah.
With my knowledge.
Yeah. 100%. You should not be seeing these things this early because it's just going to fuck your head up for the next 10 years. Yeah. You're going to be in therapy a lot if you keep seeing this shit too early in life. But no, you try to protect them. That's one reason. What's funny is the one thing that is scaring me more is social media. I don't want my kids on Twitter or Facebook. Oh. I just don't. That's
it's so easily accessible, and it's so
that's
just
scarier than any game or movie I can think of. It's oh, you want the internet to be able to say anything they want to you? I'm no.
Oh.
No, you stay off Twitter forever. Because that's one thing that sucks is back then, like you just said, that generation of people not being oh, you're a girl gamer. Physically to your face, yeah. The problem is people have internet muscles, and that sucks. And people will say whatever they want on the internet. So,
but they'll get drowned out by the positive people. They really will. The second somebody calls one of my friends a name, you should see what happens. The outpour of people that are you're an asshole. It just explodes in front of them, and then they start blocking everybody, and they regret what they've said. So usually, that's what we're hoping.
Right. Yeah, again, just depending on the community you're in. Because, for example, Kind of Funny, they don't put up that shit. If you're an asshole in there, they will just be yo, you're being a piece of shit. You need to stop. Yeah,
so being an admin in their Facebook group, we shut that shit down so quick.
I can imagine.
We Negan it, if you will.
Yeah. Do you find it a lot in there? Is it? Oh, yeah. No. Okay, well,
it's a weekly occurrence that there's an asshole that we have to, hey, watch your mouth, or we don't tolerate that, goodbye. So it kind of it's a case-by-case basis, but people are awful, so.
Yeah, well, again, I didn't expect that from that community, I guess, so. It's okay.
The internet.
Yeah, that's the problem. And again, social media, get the hell away from my kids.
Right.
Wait until you're mature enough to know that people aren't evil in the world, because, the whole cyberbullying thing and all that, I couldn't deal with that. That's one thing I just want to avoid as long as possible. I'll let my kid play whatever. It's weird though, because I'll let my kids play gaming online. My son will let him play games online, but also too, thankfully you can restrict the hell out of that as well. You can narrow it down to where you can't talk to anybody but friends. And I've told him over and over, I'm I don't want you talking on the internet unless it's in a party with your friends. Because I do not want you just to be in a room with somebody who can just say whatever they want to you. I'm you get in a party with your friends, and I check it all the time. I'm make sure you're good. So again, that's the kind of difference with him growing up, is that I'm there to police it and monitor it. And also we have a lot more measures to do so.
And you're the type of parent that knows to do that, because there's a lot of parents out there that just don't know that that's available, and they don't know how to turn things off.
Yeah.
So they just don't know what's happening until it's too late.
What's funny is my son probably wishes that I didn't know those things, because he's probably just like, I know how to restrict the amount of time he can play, and he's just like, of course, with technology, he can send me an email to ask for more time, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, you're not getting more time. Stop.
No.
You're not getting more time. You've been up, like today, example, I did not see my kid all day. I didn't see him. Like, he was in his room playing on his Xbox, and it was like 4 p.m. All of a sudden, I get an email. It's like, he's asking for more screen time. I'm like, absolutely not.
No,
I haven't seen you
go
at
see
all.
the light of day.
Come downstairs, get some food. And he's like, no, I did come downstairs. I'm like, I swear to God, I didn't see you come downstairs. So. But again, I mean, as long as, did your parents ever get like that with gaming where they were like, you can't play a certain amount of times or whatever, like you shouldn't play this long? Or did they ever say you need to get out of the house and do things?
I mean, they would say that every once in a while, but it was never like a serious, like, I wasn't on my gaming system constantly, but I'm a really big, I want to just lay around all weekend and watch TV. So I would either be watching TV or movies, or I would be playing a video game in between to break it up. And I did not leave my house on the weekends. When I was junior high school, I lived 30 to 45 minutes away from my friends. So I couldn't really just go outside, and it was kind of a really wooded area. There's a lot of houses, but not that many people, and nobody's really walking around or riding bikes or playing. So I never had anybody outside, and they didn't mind because they kind of like to be lazy on the weekend too. So unless there were actual plans, I was probably locked away in my room until 4:00 at night, but I would come out for food.
There you go. You'd come out for food at least. Yeah.
I'd open a window.
There you go. I mean, nothing wrong with that. No, I had, my grades and everything were fine when I was a kid. So like my parents never gave me shit really. They were just like, of course, like my interests would change over the course of my childhood. You know, like there was moments where like I really was into games, and then there was moments where I didn't give a shit, and then I would come back and on and off and everything. But
I didn't really game when I was in junior high and high school. So those were like the dark years. I didn't really play anything. The dark years. Yeah. I wasn't interested in anything. I didn't have any friends that were. My dad never picked anything up. So whatever games that I had, those were the ones that I was playing. I was going back and playing Rugrats when I was in like 8th grade.
Just because, I mean, you had it there. That's
what I had. Yeah,
exactly. Or you had your demo disc where you could go army.
Or my demo disc. Yeah. So you're going to hate this, but I feel like it has to be said. I'm the most awful gamer because I took all of my games out of their cases and I put them in a CD folder.
You're fine.
No, you're not supposed to do that, though.
Well,
all of the original cases were gone, and a bunch of the artwork was gone, and I feel bad doing it now that I'm an adult. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's awful. Like you don't.
Yeah,
do
I just tossed them. Like I'm like, I don't need these anymore. They take up too much space. Let's put them in the CD case. And then get this: when the CD case was full, I would just stack them in the front of the CD case.
No.
I know. Don't cry.
No.
I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
because I did with my CDs too.
Well, I mean, again, if you just everybody has their own preference. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at you
anymore. No, I think back and I'm like, man, that was not nice of me to do that. Those poor games, because like they didn't hold up. They're all scratched. They're not good.
I mean, that was the only thing I'd worry about is like scratching the game, because that like, dude, if you got a good game that got a scratch on it, you were like the saddest person ever. You're like, fuck. Mm-hmm. I did this. This happened because of me.
It's all my fault.
It's all my fault that I did this. That was the one thing that I was blown away by. Was there was a machine that did resurfacing of games where they would actually like remove the scratches off of games, and it was the best thing in the world. Like, because it made all of a sudden games work again. You were like,
if they were superficial, yes, because sometimes they weren't superficial, and you really screwed your game over. So.
Yeah. What caused the dark times? Like, what was it? Just like outgrowing it, or just friends being more being into friends and other things besides gaming, basically?
So in 5th grade, I moved a few times before 5th grade, but during like the end of 5th grade year, my dad got a new job in my hometown. So we moved from up north down to where my grandparents are. And we actually stayed with them for a few months until we got our own house. And I don't know where my PlayStation went. It
got lost.
It got packed, and it wasn't like an avid gamer. So I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. I love TV, so I'll just watch TV all the time. And I had my Game Boy and the 4 games that I had on that. So I would play here and there. But for 6 months while we lived with them, I didn't play anything and I didn't really care. And then when we finally unpacked everything at the new house, I unpacked it and it sat there and I'd turn it on here or there, but I just wasn't associating with anyone that was like, yeah, let's play a game. And
right.
It just wasn't. I loved TV and I found my huge love of TV because that's when I was impressionable and watching Gilmore Girls all the time. And snap. Yeah, and ABC Family and the CW and MTV, and I was just watching TV constantly. So like gaming took a huge back burner. Like it was in the freezer. I hadn't even thought it out. Like I didn't know it existed until, no, okay, it's the weekend and I'm kind of bored. I'll put Harry Potter on. Oh, this game sucks. I'm stuck at the same spot I've been stuck at for 12 years, so I'll just turn it off.
Right.
Like,
that sucks. Yeah. Everybody, I think it's funny because high school was exactly the same thing for me, except for it wasn't that gaming started to suck. It was just skateboarding and girls were way more fun. So I was like, yeah, I was skateboarding fucking from the moment school ended till the time I had to go to bed. I was skateboarding. I didn't
see, and I was the kind of girl that like focused on the makeup to get the cute skater boy to like look at me. So I was more focused on interacting with the skater boy than I was playing the game that probably the skater played too.
Yeah,
like
right.
I just didn't care.
Well, it's funny.
So your priorities get in a different line.
100%. The only game I cared about was Tony Hawk because that's what.
Oh, of course. I played Tony Hawk too.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Except for,
good one.
I got to the point where PS2 came out and I just didn't give a shit to get it. So I was that weirdo asking, like, do you guys have Tony Hawk 4 on PlayStation 1? They're like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, play PS1? I'm like, yeah, because I didn't care. Like, I was just like, all I want to do is play Tony Hawk. I didn't care about other games. I didn't feel the need to get a whole new console. I didn't feel if I got it, I would play it enough. So I just had my PS1 and I was just like, cool with this. And again, my dark times was basically all of high school. I just didn't give a shit.
So I'm glad you mentioned Tony Hawk 2 because like I constantly played that. And that was right along with my Rugrats and Crash Bandicoot and stuff. And then I would pick that up, but I would be stuck at it. So like I couldn't progress because I wasn't good at it. I was just button mashing, trying to do cool shit. But I had no idea the PS2 came out. I had no idea what an Xbox was.
Just because you weren't in that spectrum. Like you didn't have friends conversating about it. You didn't really have anybody to tell you these things. You didn't have gaming.
Nope.
You didn't pay attention to magazines. You didn't pay attention to any of that shit.
I didn't even know what a GameStop or EB Games was. I would see them in the mall, and I'm like, yeah, no, I have better things to spend money on. Like, the girlfriends and I didn't even go there. It was Abercrombie, and it was PacSun, and it was Hot Topic, and, like, that was it.
Yep.
So we would hit our stores, we would get our cute clothes, we would go back and go out to some, like, video game place, like an arcade or whatever, and try and pick up cute boys.
There you go.
Like, that was it. So.
It's so funny, because, like, the mall, like, everybody had their own, like, thing, their own group of stores that they went to. The only thing that makes me sad as an old man is I go to the mall now and I see the teenage girls at the mall now and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I don't think I could handle these people. And I have a 16-year-old, she'll be 16, and I took her to the mall to buy jeans and I almost put a gun in my mouth and just ended it all. I was like, I can't do this shit. Like, let's go here. Oh, this one, these jeans, they don't really fit. Let's go to this other store. And then we literally went to like 7 stores. And then we ended up going back to the first store because she liked those jeans the most. And I was like,
that's a man thing because this is not unheard of to me because I literally do the same thing and I'm prepared to do the same with my daughter. So
again, it's just like I could, but my wife's not really like that though either. Like my wife's not really like that. She will go and find stuff, but she's not one to go to 9 stores and then go back to, like, the fact that my daughter went to 7 stores, then went back to the first one, I literally was like, we just wasted so much time.
I would buy pants at the first one and continue on to 7 stores, buy pants at the last one and have to go back to the first to return them. That's what I do.
Right.
That's why it's a whole thing.
Yeah, see, you're good. Yeah. No, you'll be more prepared for it. When my daughter, and then I'm just looking at, again, we were all those kids at one point in time. But when I went to the mall, it was like, let's go to the skate shop. Let's go to GameStop. And I would just play the demos there. I would be like, is Tony Hawk in? No? Whatever. I didn't care. That was
okay, I played your demo. See you later.
Exactly. By the way, speaking of demo discs, the Tony Hawk demo disc of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the very first level, the hangar, I played that demo forever. And it was just the first stage. That's all it was. And it was the same one song that they played in the demo, but I played it so many times.
I played that level, like, yeah, just I can't count how many times I played that level. And I would restart it until the 3 songs that I liked came up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would continue to drop in until those songs came up. And I was like, nope, bad song. Nope. Oh, okay, here's the Cyclone. We'll listen to that.
There you go. It's that's the other thing too, is like at that age, you're impressionable on music and all that stuff. And literally my favorite band to this day, I found because of like Tony Hawk initially. And I'm just so, and eventually I like learned, oh, they're actually like a local band and they kind of play in my area. And then I just grew to love them more. But yeah, like that whole genre and style of music literally became all I listened to forever. And it's still what I like to listen to now. Besides, well, it's funny now because like music to me is like, I don't listen to music really, just because I listen to new music and I'm like, I'd rather listen to a podcast. So I just do podcasts now. Like it blows my mind to some of my friends. I tell them, they're like, have you heard this new band? I'm like, no, I sure fucking haven't. Have you listened to any of these podcasts lately? They're like, no. Who would want to do that? I hear
songs like 6 months after they come out.
Right.
If they're on like Pandora for work, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I like this, I'll buy it. I spend like maybe $12 a year on music.
The last CD or any music I bought, I buy like maybe one like album a year. Maybe. And it's all from older bands I liked before I got out of music. So I'm just like,
you're just getting your whole new system set up.
Basically.
You have to rebuy stuff every time new things come out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, Rise Against had a new CD come out. Cool. Oh, Metallica had a new CD out. Cool. Any of these new bands, I don't know who the hell they are. I don't care to know who they are. I'm just like, that's fine. But again, that again, taste change. I used to listen to music all the time. Now I barely listen to music. I'd rather listen to podcasts. So, and some people fall in and out of gaming, but that's always fine. So after the dark times, what got you back initially into it?
So it's a little cheesy, but I met my husband. It was 2 weeks before prom and I was a junior and he was a senior. And our friend that he worked with, at his first job came up to both of us and to both of us was like, hey, I have a friend that wants to go to prom but doesn't have a date and I know you don't either. Can I set you guys up? And we're like, yeah, sure, go for it. So he called me and he asked me to prom and we dated for obviously 12 years now.
Right. Just a little
we're
bit
married. Yeah. So we were dating and during the summer we'd go to the house and what are we going to do? Well, he loved video games. Like he was an avid gamer. And he had the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 had either just come out or was just about to come out because we borrowed it the next summer we were dating. But he would play a few titles and I can't remember what he was playing at the time, but he told me that I should try God of War. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is, but yeah, sure, whatever. Like if that's what makes you think I'm cute, then yeah, sure, I'll play God of War. So, and I wasn't opposed to playing games anyway. I just didn't have anything I would want to play. So he had me play the first God of War and I loved it. It was fantastic. And then he had me take home. I was very excited because he let me take home Prince of Persia. Yeah. I was like, he's going to keep me around for a long time because he has to get this game back.
He has. He's like, oh,
he's stuck now.
She'll be around.
It's like he left his sweater at my house. He gave me his game to borrow. So I actually started playing that and I had it for so long that he was like, let's get you your own copy because I lived 45 minutes away still. Right. So I had my own copy and I gave him his back and I would try and play that. But ever since God of War, he's introduced me to everything. We ended up borrowing a PlayStation 3 that his cousin had bought and we played Assassin's Creed together. And that made him buy the PS3. And then he ended up buying me my own PS3 so we could play Call of Duty together because he got me into Call of Duty and that was fun. And Nazi Zombies was fantastic and something that I could play while he was at work and play while he was home. And I actually got decent at and I wasn't terrible at it. So, everything that I played has either been suggestions from him or has been, now I buy my own stuff occasionally, but usually he either buys me all my games or I play something that he buys. And yeah, we're just a cute little gaming couple.
Aw.
Yeah, so sweet.
No, like it's the same thing. Like it's funny because my wife is actually in a way responsible for getting me back into games.
Not nice.
So my wife, her brother, owned his own game store, not like a GameStop or like he owned his own separate game store, which eventually shut down, which is really sad. He got a job at Game Crazy, which was a local video game store that was attached to a Hollywood Video. It was like a national chain that was, Blockbuster, Hollywood Rental, whatever. She actually got me back into gaming because I needed a job, and he was the manager of the store, and she's like, hey, you should hire my boyfriend. And, I did the interview, and obviously I was fine to work there, but then, like, it fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, all of a sudden I was back in game mode where I was around it every day. I was seeing all these videos, hearing all these people talk about it, and I got so much back into gaming. But I was probably, after that, was more into gaming than I ever was before, just because it was just like, holy shit. Like, those dark ages, I miss so much shit.
Same. There's a whole new world out there, and there's a whole new way to consume the games, and there's new systems, and there's new titles, and there's all these magazines dedicated to it, and then there's websites that are coming up because the internet's a big thing now, and like there's just so much more, and it's more exciting. And it's not just you buy your game, you play your game, you're done with your game. There's like online is a thing now, and you can go multiplayers, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it got so it was crazy because of how quickly, obviously when I got older and I got out of school and stuff, like more responsibilities, children, all this stuff. I didn't skateboard as much. So I was like, what can I do at home? I can play games at home and still be there for the kids and stuff. So, I mean, that's where it kind of took over my number one hobby as soon as I started working the game store. But I bet she kind of regrets doing that at times, but also too, I mean, we play games together and stuff. Like, she was into gaming. Well, it's funny because when we first met, she didn't mention she played games, but then like certain games, she's so into, and it's insane. Like, she will play Diablo 3 over and over and over and over and over and over until like I got to a point where I'm like, we have to play something else. Like, I love you and all, but I cannot play Diablo 3 another fucking time.
So that's literally me with watching The Office or Gilmore Girls or Grey's Anatomy. I have rewatched those series so many times that my husband's like, no. If I'm here, you're not watching it. Watch something new, put a game in. I don't care what you do. Stop watching the same 3 things over and over. I'm like, I can't help it. But I have a girlfriend who's really similar. She's not a gamer, but they bought her. She got into Call of Duty when Nazi Zombies was a thing. She and I would actually play together while our husbands were at work together because our husbands worked together. Yeah. So she and I would be online or at my house or at her house, and we would play Call of Duty. And then her husband bought her own PlayStation.
That's awesome.
So that she could play. Yeah. So we were kind of very similar because they saw that G bought me my next PlayStation, and we had a lot of fun with that. We had 2 TVs and we could all play together, all 4 of us on one team, and it was so cool. So they got her own. And that's all she plays. That's it. Every time a new Call of Duty comes out, they buy 2 Call of Duties. I don't think they bought a PS4, a second one. I think they only have the one. But like, you do what you got to do, and if that's the only thing you like, then that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's funny is that my wife, like I said, there's certain games, like when it comes to games that involve dual analog sticks, she's not about it. She's like, I can't do shooters. I can't do any of that shit. Like, aiming with one, moving with another. She's just like, I cannot handle this.
I used to be like that.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's just a comfort level. She's just not used to it. So she's just all about, like, I just want to do what I'm comfortable doing. So, and like I said, I've tried to ease her into other games, and it sounds bad, but it's like, in a way, certain games, I'm trying to think of, like, what are games that are easy to get into, but not too difficult, but not too, babyish or whatever. The Lego games we got
Overcooked.
into. I swear to God, Overcooked's the greatest game. Now, here's the thing. It is the funnest time I've ever had playing a game, period.
It's the best and worst. Yes. I have never yelled at someone so much about cutting onions or giving me a bowl than
Wash the fucking dishes. Wash the fucking dishes.
I've never yelled at my husband to wash dishes outside of a game like that. And yet in the game, I am that wife that is like, you're going to wash those dishes, you're going to wash them now.
I was going to say, I told my buddy the same thing. I'm like, it's the funnest time I've ever had playing a game. Like, I literally fucking peed laughing because it was just it got to a point where it was so ridiculous. And then you get to a point where you're like, damn, are we going to get divorced? Because we're screaming at each other, fucking, get me the fucking potato, like just screaming so loud. And then
I almost threw my controller at a friend of ours when he was playing with us. I was pregnant. I was angry. We're playing this game and it was all his fault. And I was going to yell at him and throw it at him, but it's just a game. It's fine. We'll just replay it. But it's such a good game.
I suggested it to a buddy. He's like, how is that game? I'm like, it's fucking awesome. And then I asked him, how's it going? He goes, oh, me and my wife had to stop. It got way too heated. I'm like, oh.
Some people can't handle it.
Oh, never mind. Because that's the last thing you want in a fight later on. And that's why you didn't give me the fucking potatoes and overcooked, right? Like, just like, whoa. But no.
Bringing it back around.
Yeah, let's just bring up old shit. But no, but then the games like that, me and my wife first started getting played. We bought Snipper Clips for the Switch, Death Squared, which are all like just puzzle games that you just kind of Overcooked's essentially a puzzle game. You just have to figure out the way to get to 3 stars. You have to figure out what the best method of doing
what the sequence is. Yeah,
exactly. Where does things, you have to figure all that out. So like, if you haven't played Death Squared, they've played it on Kind of Funny, and it's sad, but like I watch the Kind of Funny plays, and I'm like, actually, that looks like it's really fun for co-op. And I suggest that to my wife, and now she likes it. So I wouldn't have known of Overcooked or Death Squared or any of those if it wasn't for them.
So I don't know how you get your wife into games, but I'll let you in on a secret that my husband did for me. I don't know if I said it on Sean's podcast. I might have. I say it on a lot of podcasts because it's like our thing. He would give me games to play. I was like, yeah, cool. But then he would bring up older games, like Zelda. And I'm like, it's the 8-bitty, 16-bit. I don't even know what bit it is because I don't even care. Just, I'm not playing it. So he has this list in his phone he calls it the shiny things list.
Okay.
He bribes me to play these games. He's like, the very first one that I ever played and beat was Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
And he was like, if you play this game, I'll buy you something. And so I wanted to know how worth it is my time to you. There's a pair of jeans I wanted. They were ridiculously overpriced. They're like $120, whatever. I want these jeans. I'm like, if I beat this game, you're buying me these jeans. And he's like, that's fine. Of course, I don't know it's a 40-hour fucking game. So I get to like 13 hours. I'm like, how much longer? And he's like, oh, no, it was 6 hours in. And I was like, how much longer, baby? And he goes, halfway there. I get to 13 hours. Halfway there, baby. Halfway there. I get to 22 hours, and he was like, halfway there. I'm like, I swear to God, if you say halfway there again, I will kick you out of this house right now, and I'll throw your PlayStation across, like, the room. So
halfway there.
He puts the list together of these games, and I can pick whatever one I want. I don't have to play what he wants. I can pick any of them, but they're all worth something.
Right.
So if I beat the game, I get my shiny thing. So I got a really nice dress one time. I got my jeans. I had to buy a new stethoscope for school, so he gave me the money to buy my stethoscope because that was pretty expensive.
Right.
So the door is open to a lot of other games. I played Final Fantasy X. I didn't love it, but I'm glad I got the story because it was a good story. I played Kingdom Hearts. That was one of them. Dead Space was another one, and I just wasn't really thrilled to play it, and I fucking love Dead Space now.
Right.
It is so good. Zelda, there's a few Zelda ones. It was Ocarina of Time in particular. And I had already played Twilight Princess, but I was like, I tried Ocarina of Time on, oh my God, what system was it? The GameCube?
Okay. Yeah, they had it on GameCube. Mm-hmm.
And I can't handle the old system. So when it came out on the 3DS, I was like, okay, I'll play that. Because, of course, he had to buy it again.
Right.
You have to redo your system every time something new comes up.
Yep,
so
exactly.
I played it on that, and I got my shiny thing. It works really well. I mean, I didn't technically beat Final Fantasy X myself, but I got to the very end, and the thing is you have to do a shit ton of grinding, and I was so over it that I was not as leveled up as I should have been, and the guy took me out in one hit. So he took his old memory card and put it in, and he had maxed it out, like, and it literally took me... Yeah, it took me 3 hits and I had killed the guy and the thing was over. He was like, I just want you to experience it. Right. You made it the whole way. I don't want you to burn you out on it. So this is like what he does is he gives me the list and entices me to play these games, and it's really worked out in my benefit. So
has there been a game that's happened because of that, and you're just like, fuck this? Like, I'm happy I got through with it so I can get the thing I want, but fuck that. I don't want to play that ever again. Has that ever happened?
Final Fantasy X.
That was the one? Okay.
I will never play a Final Fantasy game again that's older than, like, I think we picked up 13 because the music on the commercials was cool and it looked really pretty. So we bought that and then it sucked. So I didn't play that either. Final Fantasy are not games for me, but Kingdom Hearts, I liked it and it's very similar. And it got me to play Kingdom Hearts 2, which I still haven't finished. But that also kind of got me to be okay with playing Persona 4 Golden because it was not a game that I would have played first.
Sure.
So, like, JRPGs just are not my thing.
Yeah, Persona 4 is like next level fucking... You were all like, dude, if he said... The worst part is if he said 37 hours and he said halfway there... That's still a lie. Like, that's a problem.
I don't mind hours in Persona. Like, there's some games, if I'm into them, that's fine. I'll spend as much time as needed in them. But fuck, I hated that stupid game. And just the fact that he kept telling me, halfway there, baby, halfway there. It's fine. You're almost there. I wanted to murder him.
I've already promoted this website before, but there's a website called howlongtobeat.com. You can go there and type in a game and it'll tell you. So hopefully he doesn't pull that shit again.
I try not to, and he knows better.
Right.
So... Every time I start a game, I'm like, how long is this game? And don't bullshit me.
Don't bullshit.
How long is this game?
We have the internet. I could find this shit out. Yeah. Don't bullshit me.
You can speed run it. I cannot.
Yeah.
How long is it for a normal person that's going to have to go back? And you know what? I'm a big fan. You listen to What's Good Games? Mm-hmm. So their thing is, if you play on easy, it's called Baby Ass Baby Mode.
Right.
And I am a very big fan of Baby Ass Baby Mode. I'm playing God of War right now, and I turned it on Baby Ass Baby Mode because I have got shit in my life that I have to get done. I still love the games, and I want to experience them. But if there's a game that offers that, which some of his do, I think Dead Space did, I will put it on that because I just want to experience it, you know? Right. And it sucks that a lot of the older games don't have that option.
Yeah, because there's no option for that shit. It's just like, I hope you're good because this shit's not easy, so.
Yeah. So the list of the newer games has gotten exponentially smaller. Right. Because after the PlayStation 3, he stopped. There's no PS4 games that he's going to, like, beg me to play.
Right.
So.
I mean, well, again, like, it's cool, though, because he's trying to get you to experience games that are defining of generations, and you can see the influence of games now. Like, that's... My wife, I would say, for the most part, my wife doesn't really play games unless, like, we will play together. Not saying she won't, like, she would play Diablo. She used to play Diablo 2 by herself a lot. She will play occasional games. Like, when Peggle 2 came out, she kicked me off my Xbox. She's like, fuck off. I'm playing Peggle 2 till I beat all of this. I'm like, all right, cool. But for the most part, I'll say, hey, do you want to play a game? And she'll be like, yeah, sure. So, I mean, for the most part, and I mean, usually it's co-op stuff. But I'm trying to slowly get her into games like Gears of War because it's like... It's not a first-person shooter, but it does require some dual stick movement. And I think it's just she doesn't want the learning curve. But then there's been games that we've tried that she's straight just like, no. She's like, I just don't like any part of that. I don't want to play it anymore. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I mean, I at least try. I'm like, hey, just try. I heard this is a cool game. Try it. And then, again, there's games like Overcooked. When I mention it to her, she's like, that sounds stupid. I'm like, no. Let's just try it. And then
we got the SNES Classic, and I'm pretty sure there's some is it Mario RPG or Mario World or something like that that's on there.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get me to play that with him, and we started it, but it's just not for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna play it because it makes him happy, and that's what I do. I do things that make him happy, so I know it's gonna make him happy, at least to give him like the chance.
Right.
To make it better, but I know it's going to be a Final Fantasy X. But we can play it together is the thing.
True.
Because I'm not going to play this game if we can't play it together.
Well, also, too, games like Mario World aren't that long. Like, Mario RPG probably is, but...
Are you sure? Are you sure 20 hours halfway in?
No. Mario World? Mario World? No, it is not a 20-hour game. Well, like, that's...
I'm just bad at them. That's the problem, is I never spent that much time playing them when I was a kid, because, like, Duck Hunter was the one I was good at because it's point and shoot. I wasn't good at Mario.
Right.
I sucked at Mario, so I hated the Nintendo. When we finally got the PlayStation and I was actually good with stuff, that changed my life because then I was good at it and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't just fucking bored. I'm not going to play with these stupid toys anymore. I'm going to put the Nintendo on. Like, I need something with more substance to it and something that I'm good with.
Exactly. Well, that's the same with me in fighting games, because I play fighting games now and I'm like, fuck this shit. This sucks. I don't like fighting games. They're fucking trash. My buddies straight love fighting games to death. They will tell you all the details of them, and I'm like, it's only because I suck. And I'm just like, fuck that. I'm not good. I don't like this. And
no, I'm not good at them. It's the same thing. We do Mario Party stuff and like Mario Kart at parties, and I'm like, do you want to play? No. Why not? Because I'm going to lose. So I'd rather just not. Like, I'll just watch. I'll go make some drinks. Like, I'll go make dessert. I don't need to do this.
There's certain games that I avoid playing with my wife only because I don't want to upset her when I win, because I'm like, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but like when I'm at my family, my in-laws' house, and there's a new card game that came out and they want to show me how to play, I end up winning. And they get real pissed because they're like, fuck you, you just learned how to play this game.
You sound exactly like my husband. He's like, oh no, why am I so good at everything? And I'm like, shut up.
And I'm not good at everything because I still fuck up a lot. But I'm just saying, just for whatever games, but like certain games, for example, I will avoid playing with my wife because I do not want to have her get pissed. Like, we've not played Mario Kart ever. I'm like,
I actually beat him and his cousins a few weeks ago playing Mario Kart, and that's on the SNES, and I was so excited.
That's awesome. But like there's certain games I avoid. My wife's all about Mario Party though. She loves the shit out of Mario Party. And again, like,
good at it.
Yeah, again, it's not even like, there's certain games that even if you're not good at, you still have fun playing them. So, I mean, I think that's for her. Like, because there were games when we played with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, we would play 4-player Mario Party. And it was just because Mario Party, you can be good at a game, and then one dice roll will fuck your game up, and you just lose, and it doesn't matter. So I think that's why she was like, even if I win every minigame, I land on one Bowser square, and Bowser fucks my world up, and then guess what? Somebody else wins.
We play Tricky Towers a lot. Because it's just, okay, put Tricky Towers on. We're waiting till like 20 minutes before the kid wakes up or something. Let's play something. And he's very good at it, but we have to give him rules. You're not allowed to rotate or something like that. Yeah. Right. You can't push it down. You have to wait for it to slowly fall down. You can rotate, but you can't make it go faster. So we have to give rules. And that son of a bitch wins still. 50% of the time.
It happens.
Not fair.
The only thing that I find adorable is my son will say, I bet I could beat you in a game, Dad. And I'm like, you are so funny. No, you can't. It's it's cool though that he's starting to get that confidence, because like I've said it before, but my son will have a clip that he puts on Xbox, and I'm like, I'm going to look at this game clip that he did just to see how cute it is, just to see what he did that he thinks is awesome. And then he plays like Titanfall 2, and I open it up. I'm like, holy shit. Like, that was really cool. Like,
He's
I
good.
was actually like, wow, I'm impressed. But then, yeah, he'll get cocky and shit. He'll just be like, I bet I can beat you, Dad. I'm like, well, just because you've played this game so much longer than I have, because I have, things to do, like make sure you have a roof over your head. You think you're better than me at the game, but that's not true. And then we'll play a game, and I'll show him that, hey, I'm still good. And he's just like, oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
So I'll tell you something that we didn't actually go over and that I've never actually gone over on a podcast.
Oh, shit.
I used to play computer games way back.
Okay.
Nothing like, I don't know,
No,
like
fine.
League of Legends or World of Warcraft, like nothing crazy.
Neither
but
am I. You're fine.
When I was super young, we had a Barbie. It was a Barbie game. And you could go in there and like dress up Barbie and cut her hair and like get her ready for her date or work or whatever. So like that was fun. But the one game that I really, really liked on the computer way back, aside from Carmen Sandiego, because that was really fun too, was Deer Hunter.
Okay.
Because my dad was a hunter. And so he bought this game because he and my uncle thought it would be funny. And he hated it because he's not good at games. But I loved it. So I would sit around for hours and play Deer Hunter. And then they had Deer Hunter where you're the deer.
Oh shit.
And you hunt the hunter.
What?
So it was like, it was like a spoof on Deer Hunter. I can't remember if it was like it was legitimately Deer Hunter, not Deer Hunter. Yeah. So I would play those a lot. I don't think I've ever gone over that.
Yeah, I never. The whole computer gaming, just because I was like, my family was broke and didn't have a computer, so we didn't really do any of like the computer stuff. The only computer game I remember my buddy playing was Doom. Just like he had a computer and they played Doom, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I mean,
I had no idea what those were. I didn't know.
Yeah. I think it's funny though, the Deer Hunter, like I totally imagine a Deer Hunter game, like the opposite, where you're the deer hunting them.
It was great. So you have this map and you have to like scroll over the map, and if you run into a deer on your scroll, then you get to stop, and it like you can pan until you see the deer or the hunter that the deer is hunting.
Right.
And you have like deer, not repellent, but like deer scent to get them to come to you. You got the deer call, and you could customize your box to what you wanted to use at that time. And you had to pick the right tools, because what if this deer just doesn't care about the sound, but it cares about the smell or whatever. And then you had to like pick your gun and shoot them right. And then if you were the deer shooting the people, you had a 6-pack, and the human call was it going, cold one, or some shit like that. It's fantastic. So it was a bunch of like rednecky type things to entice the human to come to you. Oh, there was a woman call, and the woman was like, "Hey, big boy," or some crap like that. So it's like this naked woman in the woods that you use to like call them.
Exist today.
It's so funny.
That's
I would
hilarious.
play it for hours. I had so many trophies, and my dad came down one day because he got 1 or 2 and then never played it again, and came down one day and like saw this haul of trophies that I had and was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that was a decent buy. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, on a computer, because I mean, most of those Deer Hunter games and all that stuff are usually like the light gun games. You know, look at it, point at a screen and shoot at the screen, just like Duck Hunt was. That's the only thing I found weird is like, if it's a point and click game, can't you just point like, I want to shoot the deer here? Done.
But it's, you know how before you have to like, in a shooter game, you can steady your arm if you're using a sniper. So it was kind of the same to like, you couldn't steady. So you had to like, it was kind of moving and stuff, and the deer would be moving still. Yeah, it was a lot more than just like point and click.
I was going to say, because that'd just be like, bam, you're dead, thank you.
Yeah. And you had to scroll with your keys, so you had to like turn it and then aim with your gun, and like I can't really remember the exact buttons, but it was a lot more than click you're dead.
that makes way more sense.
Right?
That's fine. So as far as obviously today, you and your husband play a lot of games and stuff like that. Do you do well? I mean, at least you're enjoying games. Obviously, you're talking Stardew Valley because that's like your jam now. Mm-hmm. Like what are your gaming habits like today? Like, obviously, like you mentioned earlier. Hi, you're back. Obviously, you mentioned before, like, you get an hour to play games now. So, I mean, are your gaming habits now more like, what can I get in a quick hour? Or do you go for more games that are shorter now compared to before?
So, my daughter naps really well, knock on wood. She naps anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. So I'm like finger crossing always that I can get her to get that 3 hour nap.
Right.
I will play whatever I am playing as long as I can play. So I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins for a while, and the way we had our house set up, because we moved, some different situation going on, we had our house set up to where she was blocked in the living room and she could just play.
Right.
And like, she doesn't care to watch the TV really unless Moana's on, and then shit's going down because she loves Moana. So I could play Assassin's Creed and have her entertain herself, and she wasn't walking then either. So that was a lot easier. Sure. Now we're in a bigger place. I don't have the room to like block her in. She just gets up and runs. So I can't play anything when she's awake. But like, yeah, so I'll put her down at like 8:15, 8:30 I'm working out, hopefully 9:30 I'm done, and I can maybe get 45 minutes in of something. And it was Stardew Valley because Joey Noel loves it and got me turned on to it because it was like $15 at GameStop. So I was like, hell yes, I'm getting it. And I put that on the back burner for God of War at the moment. And whenever I can, I get that 45 minutes to an hour. And if I'm in a really good spot, like I'll push it, but God, I gotta go to bed. And then we've been so busy on the weekends that I haven't been able to play anything, but usually I can get at least 3 hours in on a weekend. So maybe an hour and a half on Saturday, maybe the full 3 hours on Sunday, but my husband plays soccer. So during her nap time, I get to play, which is nice.
Yeah,
but
that's
kind of when I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of with my habits now. Like before, I used to be into games that I could play for hours and hours and hours and hours. And now, like, what game is like 10 hours long that I can beat and feel like I did something with my life? Because that's the problem is like, like if a game comes out and says this game is 65 hours long, I'm like, no, thank you. Like that's just too much. I'd rather get an 8 to 10 hour, 12 hour, and that's just based off, you know, my availability of time to play games. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't have as long to play games as much. So
yeah,
you know, that's basically what I'm working with now. So, because of this little one who made her second appearance tonight.
Yep.
So that's okay. But no, she's kind of in the same boat where she can basically, she's to a point where we've baby-proofed everything we need to. So, hold on a second. So she just kind of roams the house and she's cool and doesn't do anything and just hangs out, or, you know, she doesn't get into anything. So she'll just like wander around the house and then occasionally she'll come to me and go, water, please. I'm like, all right, let's go get you some water. So, I mean, yeah, like today.
No, mine's at that age where she just needs someone all the time watching her, because no is like not quite a thing. It's like it's a thing, but it's not. She knows no when she hears it, but she doesn't know no if no one's saying it. So
right. Yeah,
like I don't have that luxury yet.
Yeah, like she's gotten to a point where she's pretty much, I don't have to really worry about her. Like if she's in the house, she's good. She's not getting into things. Anything that she shouldn't be into, we've already baby-proofed to the point where she can't. So now she's getting to the point where she's getting potty trained and actually able to like go to the potty on her own, which is awesome.
I know, there's an extra 5 minutes, right?
It's just like, she's like, I have to go potty. I'm like, all right, cool, go. You're good. You know what to do. She's like, all right.
Holler if you need me.
Yeah, exactly. If something happens, let me know. So. All right. So this little one wants me to go to bed. So
and I want to go to bed too.
Yeah,
so
I'm already. Yeah. Speaking of very low free time and being exhausted, if people wanted to check you out anywhere on the internet or play games with you or anything, where would they go?
Everything you could think of: PlayStation, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I am at HarleyQuinn103. I'm lucky and have all the same name all over everywhere.
Good job, because some people aren't. Like Nick Scarpino.
Nick_Scarpino, yeah.
It's okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing all your stories with me, and I really do.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. And again, thank you, Nikki, for being on the show. If you guys want to follow her, you can go ahead and, like I said, go to Twitter. You can look her up, HarleyQuinn103. And again, you can check her out, PlayStation, Twitter, all of the above. Pretty much any of the gaming mediums that she's on, she'll be there. Also, too, I apologize for any of the random noises you heard. My daughter, Addison, decided to come down and record the podcast with her dad, so she sat on my lap and just kind of made noises in the microphone. So if any of those noises weirded you out, I apologize. But, you know, sometimes 2-year-olds just want to hang out with their dads. What can you do? If you guys want to be on the show just like she was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel, so if you go to YouTube and just search up GUG Podcast, you will find it there. Subscribe there, listen, play it in the background if you want. I don't know. You know, some people, I have one guy who says, I'm so happy you got these on YouTube. That's who I did it for. So if you guys want to check it out there, go for it. Also, too, we have a Facebook group, Growing Up Gaming. Just search that up in Facebook and you can see the group there. Guys, thank you so much for listening each and every week to the show. Hopefully you liked it. If you do like it, go ahead and send me an iTunes rating. Give me a like on Facebook. Give me a whatever. You know how to like do all that social media stuff. So if you guys enjoy it, thank you so much. And I will look forward to recording another episode and catch you guys next week. See ya.